Good morning, New Hampshire. Good morning, Maine. WTSN AM and FM. We have you covered right up into York County, up into Portland, Maine. Good morning, New England. Good morning, worldwide. Hey, Alexa. Hey, Google. Simply play. Hey, Alexa. Hey, Google. Play the pulse of an H. I love it when I hear from a lot of you that when I say that, your smart device goes off in your home. So let's do it again. Hey, Google. Hey, Alexa. Play the pulse of an H. 9 to noon, Jack, Heath, J-Dog on the boards. And got a pretty nice looking day out there, J-Dog. I sensed this morning early when I went out early with my canine friend, not quite as chilly as yesterday, but we stay on the seasonable side this week. Now, there are some reports tomorrow night, maybe this week, a little bit of the snow stuff, but we remain sort of south of the mountains, if you will, snow free. I talked to a buddy this morning early in Annapolis, Maryland, and he had to shovel yesterday, J-Dog, twice his driveway. They got a foot of snow in that greater D.C. area. Good morning. Got a lot going on. Jack, Heath, J-Dog on the boards. We're going to hear shortly from some of our regular contributors, including John Decker, our own White House correspondent, talking about that Republican agenda to try and get things done quickly. Brad Card will weigh in as well in this hour. A little bit later on, we're going to hear from an expert. Apparently, employers, small business owners, we heard this recently before the holidays from our Bank of America friends, one of their leading economists. She was pointing out that small businesses, small business owners, those who hire, those who actually make things, drive things, build things, and move the economy, plan to hire. They plan to hire more in 2025 because they like what happened on November 5th. We'll talk more about that. Come back, we'll talk about how you want to tangle with someone named Donald Trump. Well, just ask the Canadian Prime Minister how that worked for him. Justin Trudeau announcing he's resigning. He's resigning. Trump 1, Trudeau 0. Or Canada, could they get a conservative leader? We'll come back to that and some commentary a little bit later on. Also, this morning, what is Joe Biden doing on the way out of office? We'll hear more from that in a little bit, including his ban on offshore drilling, some of this other stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if this weekend, you heard it here and only here, you heard it here. I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Biden does a few more pardons this weekend. Usually it's a Sunday. The Biden White House likes to make news on a Sunday when you're watching, wild card NFL football playoffs. I bet you his own name or his brother might issue a few more pardons on the way out the door. Just go ahead, Joe. Keep building that legacy and be angry at everyone but yourself. You decided to run not once, not twice. Actually, in your life, about 3 or 4, maybe 5 times. You decided to run. Didn't go your way. You got screwed over by your own party. Suck it up. You gave some glowing tributes to Jimmy Carter in his life after being president. Well, be gracious. Hold your head high and stop blaming others. You're the one who wanted it, not once but twice. Actually, more than that. Just some commentary from yesterday. I have to just touch upon one story, J-Dog. By the way, before I do, let me be. I don't want to be remiss bringing our buddy here, J-Dog. You called it. You called it a while ago, a few weeks ago. You said, watch out on how Netflix, speaking of streaming, how Netflix is just going to dominate and take over thing and make the ABCs, the CBSs, the NBCs, the MSNBCs, the Fox, everyone's going to be scratching their heads. So not only did Netflix for the first time air 2 NFL games on Christmas Day successfully, your favorite show, one of them, WWE, last night, what's that? Monday Night Raw, last night, J-Dog, one of those, nothing else to do. I watched it on Netflix. The Rock came out. Welcome the World from L.A. Roman Reigns. They had this battle for some like Hawaiian island royalty. What's that? Yeah. Yeah, the red necklace. It's like Rock's new movie there, the kids movie. Hey, the point is, I bet you it was a huge success. People were streaming, watching it all around the world. The Rock, WWE, on Netflix. No, they don't know what. Yeah. So one thing I want to also mention, we have a lot of transition going on. Yesterday, of course, the certification, the election. I'm not gonna sit here and I might get into some of this later, but I watched some of the tape, as they say, of Kamala Harris, vice president, not once but twice, having to read through the rolls and certifying the electoral college results for Donald Trump and then J.D. Vance And actually, she did it pretty pretty graceful. I mean, not a fun thing to do when you were the one running, you lost, and you have to certify, hey, that guy that I ran against, he won, and I'm making it official. I think it's only happened a few times in history where a vice president who technically is head of the Senate, and there's those tiebreaker votes, but who runs and loses, don't hold me to this, but Neil Levesque, I think, said this yesterday, one of our great contributors from St. Anselm College Institute of Politics, who ran for president, lost, and then had to certify the results for their opponent. But yesterday, Harris had that final, kind of had to be very humbling moment while Joe Biden on the way out. Wow, what an angry, what a, I think a few weeks ago, Jill Biden said, Joe, they screwed us over so bad. Burn it down on your way out. He's doing a pretty good job of burning out his own legacy. He's leaving the office, I think, with the lowest approval rating in almost 20 years. Good. Keep going, Joe. But I want to touch upon one unrelated story. So I'm watching J Dog. You and I talked about it before the show. I'm watching on the monitors, other than political stuff happening. And we, of course, will come back in a little bit today with some of our contributors. This Thursday, it will be Governor Kelly Ayotte, newly elected, will be delivering her inaugural address to a joint session of the legislature Thursday. And the House gets going tomorrow, but Thursday, so things get underway here legislatively. Obviously, in Washington, less than 14 days, Donald Trump is physically back in the White House as president. But I'm watching how our mainstream media works. And I don't know about you, but today there are no more secrets, as you know. Social media, this smartphones in our hand. But I'm watching this morning, and I don't know why you'd want to get out of bed, why you'd even want to face the world. This is what I saw in the span on two networks. Um, this is what I saw in the span of just a couple of there's Governor Sununu, J Dog, on CNN. Is that going to be his new media gig? We're going to hear his exit interview also today on Good Morning Hampshire, the Pulse of an Age, exclusive one-on-one interview. But I'm watching in the span of 10 minutes the fear scare the heck out of the people out there, the fear. So the first story I see is this in-depth piece scaring the living heck out of you about bird flu. Bird flu. Here we go again. And then there's this mystery. This is the headlines: mystery respiratory virus with no cure. What a great way to wake up in the morning. Well, I'm watching this stuff, and I'm just going, okay, scare the living heck out of the customers, right? And I'm watching this stuff, and I'll get to the kicker in a moment. But this is what I'm watching this morning. And by the way, I didn't mention this. If you want to watch us, in addition to listen to us on any smart device, you can check out us on our YouTube channel, YouTube, The Pulse of an H. Make it easy for you. The Pulse of an H, our YouTube channel. You can watch the show every day now. Watch it, watch the video live and the audio, or streaming online, your smart device. Hey, Alexa, hey, Google, The Pulse of an H. We make it easy for you. But this morning, I'm watching how the mainstream media wants to scare the living heck out of all of us. Bird flu. Here we go again. Respiratory virus with no cure going through parts of China. Nothing to worry about, it says, but the headline: respiratory respiratory virus with no cure. That's going to make you want to get out of bed in the morning and face the world. The other one is, like, we've never heard about this, norovirus. Norovirus making the rounds. Norovirus. You're going to be in the bathroom all day and all night. And then the network anchors have to show us how to wash our hands on TV. Really? Talk about scaring the heck out of the customers. I just chuckle how all this works sometimes. I really do. It's kind of like, I don't know, scare the heck out of everyone. Neurovirus, isn't that the one that you used to go on a big cruise ship to get? Remember that, J-Doc, a number of years ago? You'd see one of these Princess of these huge cruise ships, 4,500 people, and the neurovirus would hit it, and the whole ship, like, not the whole ship, but 30% of the people on it. That must be a lot of fun. Bird flu, respiratory virus. The good news this morning, the only good news we're missing this morning is the C word. No one's really talking about COVID. Here we go again. Buckle up, Martha. All right. Hey, Google. Hey, Alexa, play The Pulse of an H. Got a packed show for you. J-Dog on the boards. Back with more of our regular contributors, including employers looking to hire more in 2025. Brenda Siri will be with us in a moment. All right, we are back. Yeah, I just got some feedback from a few of you listening. I don't know if it's just me. It's January. It's New England. It's New England. But is it just me? 'Cause just when things start to calm down, I'm just going to point this out. Okay. A few weeks ago, drones all over the place, drones over Hampton, New Hampshire, drones in New Jersey, drones the size of SUVs. And I'm not saying they weren't there. I'm not saying they weren't there. The story's sort of gone away. I think they kind of grounded them. Domestic drones. This morning, you wake up, neurovirus, red alarm bells going off, neurovirus. It's making the rounds. Yes, it is. It is. I'm not saying it isn't. And I don't want to get it. Neither do you. I get it. Respiratory virus with no cure. What a way to wake up in the morning, right? And then the other one I have to chuckle at is bird flu. Don't forget bird flu. When all else fails, bird flu's out there, right? I remember once years ago, God, the kids were young. We were flying back spring break in Florida from one of the vacations. And, you didn't want to leave and get on the plane because bird flu was out there. Bird flu. I don't know if came in through Toronto, but bird flu. So everyone was afraid of the bird flu. That was back then. So this morning, it's like, why would you get out of bed? Scare the heck out of the people out there, right? Neurovirus, isn't that the one you go on the big cruise ships to get? So neurovirus is going around. And then I have to see, I wouldn't be surprised if these digital signs we see on the highway, like when you're driving, like, um, distracted driving is bad. Pull over, move over. If you see blue lights, those are all good signs. Winter snowstorm tonight, reminding people it might snow and slow down. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing neurovirus. Remember to wash your hands thoroughly, like we need to be told that. I mean, I remember my late grandmother used to tell me when I go into Boston on the MBTA, the blue line out of Wonderland, wash your hands. Wash your hands thoroughly. Don't touch your eyes. Don't itch your eye. Don't wash your hands after you're on the subway. She told me that. I kind of remembered. I kind of remember during the C stuff, during the COVID stuff, when they came out and told us to wash our hands. So what I'm watching this morning with the neurovirus story is that the anchors on one of the mainstream media, they bring out all these antibacterial spray, and they're actually demonstrating how to wash your hands. Are you serious? Wow. We've gotten pretty dumb out here. So I'm not minimizing any of these illnesses. It's January. The only good news this morning, after bird flu, neurovirus, and what's the other one? Respiratory virus with no cure. The only good news is they didn't mention the C word. They didn't mention COVID. So we got that going for us. Some commentary, 603-228-2080. J-Dog, I think we might have, do you have Brenda with us? Brenda Siri, and joining us talking about 2025. We just had one of the economists on from Bank of America before the holidays saying that small employers or independent business owners have more confidence and they might be hiring more. But ZipRecruiter's second annual employer survey reveals strong optimism for 2025, with 76% of the employers planning to expand headcount. And Brenda joins us. Thank you very much for being with us. Where are you joining us from? Sorry about those Cowboys. I think McCarthy, is he gone tomorrow, J-Dog? His last day is tomorrow, right? Mike McCarthy? The Bears. The Bears, I heard. They need to get rid of the owner. Hey, and remember to wash your hands, Brent. No, I'm kidding. Don't you love how scary? How do people get out of bed in the morning with all these negative stories? All right, let's take a look at recruitment and headcount, hiring. Take it away, Brenda. Brenda Siri, one thing and Brenda, you're out of Dallas, but what's your give us how people can follow up and contact website or more about you. Good stuff. One thing I'm hearing, and more of a New England thing, and we are one of our economists yesterday was pointing this out. Optimism, um, business owners feeling a little more confident, liking the direction the field might wait a little bit. That's what I'm hearing. More of the same, maybe a little bit better. But the one thing that I'm concerned about is if someone with inflation still high, if a couple say you have two people living together, both working, and their gross income together before taxes is pretty good. They're paying the bills, they're getting by. Of course, 200 grand or 250 grand for a couple isn't what it used to be. But if one of them were to lose their job, and I don't mean to pick on Amazon or Apple, but say they're a Northeast regional assistant sales manager and their gross package a year is 125,000 before bonus. If one of them loses that job, and maybe they won't because if they're expanding, but if they lose that job, I'm hearing they can get another job, but it may be for 60% of what they were getting paid. So in other words, it's if you lose a job in this economy, it's not a slam dunk to go out and get a job that pays you at least what you were making. Really? Mhm. Interesting. What, Brenda, what are the growth areas with your clients? What are the sectors? Is it really several? Or are you seeing one that really is a good fishing ground for people looking for new work? Mhm. All right. Again, if people want to follow up with your talent and search firm, best website, best way is how, Brenda? Thank you. We'll get you back again. That was great. Thank you. All right. Take a quick break. We'll get back. We got a double header for you. John Decker, our own White House correspondent, talking about the new Congress, how they can quickly move. What's their agenda? Brad Card will follow up on that. Will they have some snow down in Washington? Hey Google, hey Alexa, play the Pulse of an Edge. Back in a few. All right, John Decker on deck, our own White House correspondent, talking about the new Congress. The other one, as we get going this morning, I just have to chuckle. If you don't think Donald Trump, if you don't think that November 5th election was seismic, was big, and as Brad Card, one of our contributors and political analysts and experts will point out, may not be a mandate in Congress among Republicans with thin majority, but out there in the world, if you don't think it was big, ask Justin Trudeau. I had to chuckle over the holidays. People may have missed this. Trump at one point, after it was just like playing a sport with someone where it was too easy for you, too easy for you to win the points. So he tangles with Justin, the liberal leader of Canada. And this is a paradox I've always wondered. This is a question I've always had about Canada. Canada's a big physical, I look at Maine like a mini example of Canada, big physical landmass, big country, right? You go out in the country where the real people are, the real workers, and it's not liberal. But you go to the big cities like Toronto and Montreal, and you get the Trudeaus of the world. And now you might have a conservative coming in. But one tangle with Donald Trump, and over the holidays, he puts out maybe the great one, Wayne Gretzky. Maybe Wayne Gretzky should run to take over Canada, just like Trump's talking about buying Greenland. He just takes Trudeau on. Yesterday, Trudeau resigns, tells the president of his Liberal Party, get a new leader. I'm resigning. I can't deal with Trump. I'm resigning. Oh my goodness, but might be a refreshing change for Canada. Oh, Canada. Just some commentary. John Decker, our own White House correspondent, checking in, talking about the new Congress. It was quite an eventful driven day yesterday with the certification. John Decker, good morning. Take it away. And John, just looking at the outgoing administration, and I know these games are always played when it's an outgoing administration, but Joe Biden, just your take, John Decker, covering the White House. You sat with many presidents, you've covered many presidents, you're front and center. But looking at Joe Biden leaving, there are a couple things that strike me, and I don't mean to get human here for a moment, but I'm going to. He doesn't seem happy at all. And I get that to a point, but he's coming across as the angry old guy, mad at everyone, mad at the world, maybe mad at his party, still taking shots at Trump, defiant. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But a lot of these executive orders, you mentioned energy, offshore drilling ban. Now, Trump's going to come in and probably sign a whole slew of new executive orders. But just what's your take? Not on Harris, because I think Harris, her concession speech the day after the election, albeit in the afternoon, and what she did yesterday, she seems to play the role a little more graciously, and she's the one who lost. But Joe Biden just seems to be going out. And when you look at legacy, is it just me seeing this, or how do you think people are viewing his departure, Joe Biden? John Decker, thank you on this Tuesday. Thank you, John. All right, Brad Card and Associates, one of our political analysts and all-stars out there, talking about the new Congress and coming off of what John Decker said and more. Brad, good morning. What about no? Everyone's scaring the heck out of me. I mean, just watching one we call package newscast in front of me. They had three stories: bird flu scaring the heck out of people, neurovirus scaring the heck, and this respiratory virus with no cure. I'm going, why do you even get out of bed in the morning? I didn't say we want to hear about it. You don't have to scare the customers out to death of it. You just had a bout with it. You're with us, you know? Yeah. All right. Well, at least they didn't mention the COVID word. All right, Brad, let's talk about budget and pass a budget and reconciliation. What does that mean? Right. Right. What do you cut? Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah, it's interesting. Obviously, the margin. I mean, the majority is razor thin. Probably one of the tightest in I don't know, maybe I don't know, several decades. Um, John Decker just echoed though a positive assessment of a lot of stuff he thinks they will get done. Is that too optimistic on his part? By the way, can I go back? Can I go back? What what specifically? Because I heard Speaker Johnson talk about that, the desire to do something with the border. Tell us after this election, where it is an issue of a lot of voters, obviously. Tell us what that means. What would they do with the border? He has a new person coming in who's talked a lot about, you know, going after these cities that are refusing to work with federal ICE officials and others to deport certain people that break the law, and certain cities that say we're going to dig in. But what does that mean? Does it mean we heard stories over the holidays of Biden is selling parts of the wall and then a court told him to stop? Does it mean more border agents? Does it mean more security? Does it mean getting tougher on the cartels? Does it mean declaring the cartels a terrorist organization? Does it mean what does it mean, the border? Mhm. Get- Right. Let me ask you this, Brad Card, before we got time here. Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, the efficiency commission that they're heading up, or DOGE, and they're looking for government efficiency, pointing out waste. They're outside anything that we've seen before. Politicians in Washington may say, "Oh, we think this is great," but deep down inside, they probably hate the heck out of it. How's this going to work? How will they? How will they operate? Do you think they'll be effective? Right. Yep. Yeah. Right. Before I let you go, Brad Card and Associates, Governor Sununu, kind of the final days here. It will be Governor Ayotte on Thursday delivering her inaugural address. We did a sort of a one-on-one exclusive, his final interview on my show. We'll share more of that this morning. But any buzz on him in Washington, what he might be doing next, network, media, or just changing the guard, moving on? Now all eyes on Kelly Ayotte. Any buzz in Washington? Mhm. Brad, great stuff. Have a good Tuesday. Enjoy it. Wash your hands after you go out in public. Thank you, Brad. All right, we come back. We'll tell you about some of the other news talk. President Trump, President-elect Trump, soon to be back in the White House, President Trump, talking about buying Greenland. He's already gotten the liberal leader of Canada to bow out. Buying Greenland. Is that next? Hey, Google. Hey, Alexa, play the Pulse of an Age. J-Dog and the boards. It's Taco Tuesday, J-Dog. Back in a moment. Again, I'm just sort of still chuckling because I think it might be a refreshing change in Canada. I know the truck drivers up there are probably doing the happy dance that old Justin or young Justin's got his licks from Donald Trump and he's already resigned. He's moving on. Maybe some conservative leadership will move north to our border, our 51st state. Oh, you're going to love the new year. I have to chuckle on this story, though, on Donald Trump, President Trump, 13 days from today, back in the White House, escalating plans, turning up the heat to talk about buying Greenland from Denmark. Residents there seem to like the idea. People don't know this, but the map used to be moved around a lot by countries that you wouldn't even think about it today. Spain. People don't know this. Americans love, Portugal. It's a wonderful place to visit. Portugal. People don't know this. Portugal used to have one of the best, strongest navies in the world. Spain, of course, very formidable force on the water. Great Britain. And France tried, but we won't get into France. They never really did very well on the war front. Tried to help us a few times, but let's be honest, when Hitler was rolling across Europe, what did Paris surrender in a day? Anyway, Greenland, a lot of countries, did this, but Denmark, I think, is a treaty that actually leaves the door open because Denmark's technically under the Danish umbrella, but I think we have as much responsibility to protect them militarily. But it's not a crazy, and it's not new, by the way. This concept is not new. But one of the quotes, someone said, we don't want to be colonized by Danish government anymore. A Greenland official said, we get ripped off every year with our minerals from Greenland. We are the richest nation in the world, and we don't get to use it. Denmark's using us too much. That was, and then in a message, Donald Trump confirmed that he has plans to visit Greenland in the near future. His son, Don Trump Jr., just going there now, I guess. The president-elect said he plans to see some of the island's most magnificent areas and sites. Trump said Greenland is an incredible place and the people will benefit tremendously if and when it becomes part of our nation, the United States, he wrote yesterday. Trump, we will protect it, cherish it, and from a very vicious outside world, make it Greenland great again. So Trump's, I think, kind of serious. I don't think it's his number one agenda, but I don't think, in response, the Greenland prime minister declared interest in his country gaining independence from Denmark. So change underway. And again, I mean, I know over the holidays, Trump floated Wayne Gretzky should run and bump Justin Trudeau out of power in Canada. But I don't think a lot of people a month ago were talking about Trudeau actually resigning. And then he tangled with Donald Trump, got into Trump's web, had some back and forth on the economy, tariffs, and Justin crumbled. Poor Justin. Sorry, Justin. Anyway, new leadership coming to Canada, which I think would be not a bad thing. What do you think? All right, coming up, we're going to hear from some of our regular contributors. Mike Cody on the business side will be weighing in from Yankee Publishing. Rory O'Neill, NBC News Radio national correspondent. A little bit later on in the show as Rory joins us live. And this morning, Rory's going to be weighing in on a couple of subjects. But the main one, of course, is President Biden on his way out, the offshore drilling ban. Biden's new offshore drilling ban, which I think Trump will just kind of do an executive order saying, sorry, Joe, where'd you go? Where'd you go? Be out there with Robert De Niro? No, Biden on the way out, he's acting angry, isn't he? Wow. What a way to go out. Angry old guy. Said a gracious, humble, move on. Worry about your legacy. I don't think he's thinking about his legacy at all. Maybe that's a good thing. All right. Hey, Google. Hey, Lex, play the Pulse of an H. 10 o'clock hour coming up. 603-228-2080. Jack Heath, J-Dog on the boards. He's still talking about Monday Night Raw on Netflix last night. J-Dog, he's over the moon. Back in a moment.